What is the meaning of life? Why are we here? The biggest questions of all. The questions that have dogged the greatest minds for centuries. It makes me look up to the heavens in awe at our vast, magnificent universe and wonder at the possibilities of what life is all about. Join me on a journey to understand more about who we are, why we're here, and to discover more happiness, meaning, and purpose. Today, we'll be looking at service and spiritual action, which makes up part of the 3S journey back to blue, which involves spiritual practices, self-knowledge, and service. Altogether, these help purify our equipment of the body, mind, and intellect. Now, during this experiment, we've split the 3 S's up according to what they're most associated with. But obviously, all aspects of the 3S journey help all aspects of our body, mind, and intellect. As we purify our body, mind, and intellect, we gradually connect to who we are at our deepest level. Blue: bliss, love, unity, and eternal existence. Now, sometimes we may think of spirituality as something external to life, as if we have to take time out of normal life to do it. But in fact, spirituality can be infused into everything that we do through service and spiritual action. This helps us to accelerate our growth and at the same time have success in life without the stress. The ego says, what can I get? The soul says, what can I give? If we ask the latter question, we are more likely to connect to who we really are. We can reduce the ego by asking, what's in it for everyone? Or how can I be helpful to people around me? This helps to reduce the ego, which makes us feel separate from other people. This can create a greater sense of belongingness and compassion for the people around us. Being of service doesn't necessarily mean leaving your job and doing charity work, although of course that's a great form of service. Service doesn't have to come at the expense of material progress. Service and success in life are not opposites. Instead, it means embracing a spirit of service into things that we do every day. Sharing our abundance. We all like being around people who are helpful and giving, don't we? Serving feels good because it's our deepest nature. And it's also realising the vision of the U in blue, which stands for unity. We are all one. We are all part of one body. And therefore, wouldn't we want to do the best for ourselves? Would you really cut off your nose to spite your face? Serving also means that you can tap into that source of infinite potential, like plugging into an electricity socket. I find that so much strength comes to overcome obstacles when we're giving. If our intention is an expression of our love and bliss, then the whole universe conspires to move us towards our goal. We act in cosmic harmony and rhythm with the giving nature of the entire universe, and we can move mountains. Service reduces our mental restlessness, and studies show that those who are giving are the happiest. The joy of giving is greater than the joy of getting. So during the experiment, are there any opportunities in your local area to serve, to let your sweetness express itself? If the question comes up, what can I do? I'm just one person. The needs are all around us. If we observe closely, there are hundreds of opportunities for service to our community, to our society, or the planet. When we live lives in a spirit of service, then we wash away old conditionings and we reduce the formation of new ones. Now, why is that? Well, when we're in a giving state of mind, we reduce our egocentric desires and resistances. Normally, we act in the world from a place of what's in it for me, for our own ego, which reinforces our conditionings and can cause us to feel depressed when we don't get what we want. But when we come from a place of what can I give, how can I serve, then we are not doing it for our own ego. This reduces the cycle of action and reaction and washes away our desire conditionings. And then we naturally become happier. Acting in a spirit of giving helps us to align ourselves with our life purpose. Our life purpose is a special, unique gift that we're each here to give to this planet. Imagine if we're all here for a grander calling, a larger vision, something beautiful. We are mankind. Man being kind. And mankind needs more inspiring leaders. Leaders that embrace the values we've discussed in this film. And we are all leaders in our own families, communities, companies or societies. And through our example, others will follow. Don't expect the answers on your life purpose to come automatically. Be patient with yourself. If you discover clues about this during the experiment, please do share these with others on the forum. how can we recognise when we're living our life purpose? When we have those glimpses of the highest feeling of joy, of love, of presence. When we feel alive in every cell, when we're totally in the moment, these are clues as to our life purpose. Now, as I've mentioned before, in my life, I contracted chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME, and subsequently cured myself of it. Then I found I really wanted to help others with the condition. And as I did that, I found I discovered more about what I really wanted to do with my life. I realised that I wanted to help people overcome difficult emotions or illness and share this type of knowledge. That was my life purpose. That is when I feel really alive. On our discussion forum at www.TheMeaningofLife.tv/discussion, there is a section where you can share your experiences of being of service, as well as find opportunities in your country or abroad to serve. Finally, here are some further suggestions about how we can be of service. We can serve by utilising our unique skills and talents for the benefit of others. We can serve with no expectation of anything in return or any recognition. We can let go of personal desires and resistances as we serve. Let's serve without ego or a sense of doership. That means imagining that a feeling of goodness is simply flowing through us and acting. We are simply a tool for that one blue consciousness to flow and express through us. Skillfully navigate the politics. Serving means working with others. Spiritual action is all about how we can act in the world to reduce our conditionings. We can't just go and become a monk or a renunciate and live on some mountain somewhere. We all have desires, hopes and dreams, and these have to be played out in the grand theatre of our lives. Therefore, act we must. Now, normally, why do we do anything in life? Generally, we're motivated to act because we have a desire to gain something. So we have a desire, then we act, and then there's a result. And sometimes we get our desires met, and sometimes we don't. If we don't get our desires met, we get disappointed, upset, angry, and that deepens our desire conditionings. Or if we do get what we want, it may also deepen the desire conditionings because we want more and more and more. We can very easily become attached to a fixed result. Oh, I'll only be happy when I get the result that I want. I'll only be happy when I get that pay rise, or if I pass all the exams. But we can't guarantee the results of our actions. It's not in our control. The only thing we can control are our desires and our actions, but we can't control the result. This attachment and expectation of a result is the cause of a lot of our suffering in life. This is called doership, and it happens because of our ego, where we think that we're making it happen, that we're in control, and we want a particular outcome. So how can we reduce our sense of doership or attachment to results that causes so much distress in life. We can do this through spiritualizing our actions. We still act as before, but the mental attitudes with which we act is very different. And from a CEO of a multinational to a street cleaner, these new mental attitudes can help us all act efficiently and without the stress which normally comes with acting in the world. We can have success without the stress. There are 4 mental attitudes of spiritual action, and I've tried to make them as easy to remember as possible. In fact, as easy as A, B, C, D. So firstly, A for acceptance, B for beingness, C for compassion, and D for dedication. Let's go through each mental attitude in turn. Acceptance. I accept the results of my actions without any expectations. I do my best, leave the rest. Whatever actions I take in life, what helps me is to realise that I can't fully control the outcome. If I go for an interview, I can do my best, but it's not helpful to be attached to the outcome. That's just going to cause me unhappiness. Of course, this takes practice, but it's a great way of living. One of my greatest teachers said, "Do your best, leave the rest." What a great motto for life. This is similar to what we covered in day 9 on surrender and acceptance. Can we deeply accept whatever happens in life? Now, this is the most simple idea and yet the most profound. It takes continual self-awareness of our minds to let go of our expectations, and it's lifelong practice. This is our self-effort, and the acceptance of any outcome is one of the key secrets to happiness. Beingness. I am mindful in the present moment. As we engage in action, can we keep our minds in the present moment by acting mindfully, as we discussed in day 13? Giving 100% of our mind's attention to the action in the moment and letting go of worrying about the result. If we act in this way, not worrying about whether we get this or that, and joyfully enjoying the activity itself, enjoying the journey, then we can be calm and productive. This is training us to have a calm, meditative mind full of gratitude, even as we act. C is for compassion. I serve others with compassion as an expression of my bliss, love, and unity. Usually, we act from our egocentric desires and resistances. What's in it for me? Which can sometimes lead us to act without compassion. Instead, rather than acting and reacting using our minds, can we ask the question, what would blue do now? What is the most loving thing to do? What action unites us? Taking this kind of conscious decision from the intellect becomes a stepping stone to blue. Can we act with noble virtues? What does our conscience tell us we should do? Compassionate serving is about being aware of the impact of our actions on others and the planet, and playing our role compassionately and with humility. This brings peace to our minds, and our actions become more effortless. We begin to take the right actions spontaneously, with compassion and love for others. For today's journal reflections, let's write down 1 or 2 commitments that we would like to take when it comes to compassionately serving our partner or our family, or maybe our career in some way or our community. Just the process of doing this strengthens the intellect's resolve against the gushing tide of personal desires from our reactive minds. It allows us to sail our kayak in the right direction. As we already said in the section on service, we can dedicate our actions for the betterment of others, to give. This inspires our intellect, and then the cycle of conditioning is reduced. Now, why is that cycle reduced? Because when we act according to our deepest nature, the mind settles down. It reminds me of former US President John F. Kennedy's famous quote, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." Dedicating our actions to a higher ideal means the inspiration and motivation to act is for something bigger than ourselves, something we really believe in. Now, for some, that might be dedicating their actions to their family, or their community or society, or even humanity as a whole. For other people, this might mean dedicating their actions to a figure from their religion or spirituality. For others, this might mean dedicating their actions to love, or to the one consciousness. Whatever we dedicate our actions to, it cultivates humility within us. Now let's take an example. An ambitious manager gets stressed each day because her goal is to climb the corporate ladder. She feels she may not get the promotion she wants. She's stressed out. She feels that her pay doesn't match up to her skills. Her perspective is, what's in it for me? This stress reduces her effectiveness. What would happen if she shifted her perspective, as we do at step 3 of the new groove process? Maybe she instead could dedicate herself to doing the best for her clients, so coming from a place of service, or just aiming to be the best that she can be in her role, focusing on excellence. How am I growing? Or how am I improving? Or how can I help this company perform better? Or how can I look after the needs of my team? In doing this, 2 benefits occur. One is that stress reduces, and she may actually enjoy the work more because she's coming from a place of service and dedication to others. Secondly, by focusing on a higher goal, we probably have more chance of success in our field because we serve our clients or customers better, and we experience more joy and inspiration in the process, and it becomes a win-win situation. Let's take another example of a blood cell in your body. A blood cell operates as part of a huge biological system that works as a whole. there is only one body that exists, and there is oneness amongst all the individual cells of your body. The blood cell lives the values of U for unity. But what would happen if that one cell was to say, hey, why am I doing all this hard work transporting this oxygen around? What's in it for me? Instead, that one cell is dedicating itself to the higher ideal of keeping the whole body functioning. The whole system can't function correctly if that cell is not living its life purpose. The whole of nature is a demonstration of synergy, of sharing, and of love. The joy is in giving. And we have a humble but important role to play in living our life purpose. So in summary, we may choose to act with 4 new mental attitudes. During the day, when we feel that we're getting a bit stressed out or worried, we can remind ourselves of A, B, C, D. And we'll find that our attitude shifts and the stress falls away and we become more dynamic. That's certainly what I experience. I personally just go through the A, B, C, D of spiritual action. So firstly, acceptance. Let me accept the results of my actions without any expectation. I'll do my best and just leave the rest. B for beingness. Let me be mindful in the present moment as I work. C for compassion. Let me serve others with compassion as an expression of my bliss, love, and unity. And D for dedication. I dedicate my actions to a higher ideal or higher purpose. Then we can get lost in the joy of the act itself, with love, devotion, and gratitude. We don't care about the outcome because the joy is in the act itself. Now, normally we act from our desires and our resistances, what we like and don't like. But instead, when we act from a higher ideal, joyfully fulfilling our role and serving others, our ego reduces, our desires and resistances fall away, and we purify our minds. We become happier in the moment. We move from forgetting to forgiving. Of course, don't take my word for it. We can conduct this as an experiment and see what happens. This is also moving from just living to loving. And there's a freedom in acting in this way. We become freed from our own conditionings, freed from our ego, and all conflicts in the mind cease. What a way to live. And remember that we're all works in progress. Please be gentle with yourself as you embrace aspects of this experiment. We may choose to engage in some service activity that gives back to our community or society. We can act more in a spirit of service in whatever activities we normally do in life. We can act with acceptance, beingness, compassion, and dedicating our activities to a higher ideal. At the beginning of each workday, or at the start of a project, we can commit to the 4 new attitudes A, B, C, D to spiritually align our actions for the day. If we find ourselves feeling stressed or worried during our activity, we can also remind ourselves of the ABCD of spiritual action. As we practice these tools, we'll find that we enjoy our work more, we become more efficient, less stressed, and we're a boon to society. You can visit www.TheMeaningofLife.tv/discussion to share other people's experiences of being of service and how you can personally get involved in service projects in your local area. In the next video, we'll explore how we can reduce our sense of separateness or ego, as well as a summary of all the practical tools of the experiment.